Hey, Rex Gore is going to be calling in at 12:25.
On February 4th.
Okay, on the normal number or?
I don't know. I don't know. He usually calls in on the other number.
Between the U.S., Mexico, and Canada,
I answer them all, so I guess I don't know why I asked that. But...
All right. House lawmakers. If I get a chance, I'll text him this other number. Hey, take Santa Claus's call this year.
Three countries
I always
for
do.
over 25 years.
Last year I wasn't your
That's
producer,
good news
so
for
you
many
can't blame
farmers.
me.
Manuel Cunha is with the Farmers League in California's Central Valley and says it's a long time coming.
This gives us is an opportunity for a more balanced movement of goods on both directions.
Next up, the Senate's scheduled to take up the USMCA legislation in January. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
The wait continues to see if North Korea delivers its threatened Christmas gift. The regime had held off on nuclear and long-range missile tests, but upset with sanctions, North Korea has indicated something could be coming. Defense Secretary Mark Esper said Friday,
I remain hopeful that we could, again, get the process started again and remain on the diplomatic path.
Overnight, 5 people were killed, 13 others hurt in a fire at an apartment building in Las Vegas. You're listening to ABC News.
A car chase has taken the life of a 13-year-old near Cleveland.
Police say the tragedy happened at Euclid Avenue on Lakefront Road as the teen was leaving school, walking home, and was struck. 2 others were injured. The chase reportedly began at the Target store on the other side of town, west 117th Street in Cleveland, after an armed 15-year-old boy carjacked a woman. She was not hurt. The teen was taken into custody after getting on the freeway and crashing in East Cleveland. I'm Ken Robinson.
Police searching for a second suspect. The Ohio Department of Health reporting a decline in overdose deaths for the first time in a decade. Nearly 5,000 people died from drug overdoses in 2017, and officials say that number decreased by 22% last year when the last data was taken. About 3,700 people died from overdoses in 2018, and officials say around 72% of those were related to fentanyl. Columbia Gas proposing a new pipeline. Officials say the Columbus Northern Loop would provide a much-needed gas and will be the largest project Columbia has ever undertaken. Former New York City mayor and Democratic presidential candidate Michael Bloomberg made a stop in Chillicothe Friday as he discussed his plan to combat the opiate epidemic. Bloomberg said he would expand access to treatment, create national standards for how opiate use and overdoses are tracked, and require insurers to expand coverage for opiate use disorder. And an elderly cab driver in Claremont County accused of opening fire on a fair. Police in Moscow say 71-year-old Philip Palmer shot a man after an argument at an area gas station, then drove off in his cab. The man was treated and released from the hospital. Palmer appearing in court Friday and is being held on $500,000 bond. I'm Kyle Cornell.
Filling your news feed with the top trending news at the top and bottom of the hour. Columbus's news is on News Radio 610 WTBN.
Through December 31st, for every $25 gift card purchase at thecheesecakefactory.com or at any of the Cheesecake Factory restaurants, you'll receive a free slice of cheesecake, redeemable in the new year. Visit thecheesecakefactory.com for more details.
When you need holiday decorations, depend on Strader's Garden Centers. You'll find a huge selection of tree ornaments in all colors, styles, and sizes. Tree lights for indoors and out, miniature to large, extension cords, timers, whatever you need to light the night. How about trees? Oh yeah, Strader's has a huge selection of artificial trees you'd swear they were fresh cut, and in all sizes. The best selection in Columbus. Fresh cut trees, of course. Scotch pines, white pines, Fraser fir, and many others. Shop indoors, out of the weather for your tree. Strader's has white pine roping, cedar garland, wreaths, grave blankets, and so much more. Think about gifts. How about a new outdoor grill for Dad, or a snowblower, or a new mower? Gift certificates are available. See all the specials on Strader's website at straders.net. Then, come to Strader's Garden Center.
Live from LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Good afternoon. Welcome to On Target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility. That's located at 999 Bethel Road. I'm your host, Eric, along with my father, Phil, who sits here to my left. Papa, can you believe Christmas is this week. It seems like I don't know where the time has gone.
I'm excited. The last couple of nights I haven't been able to sleep, waiting for Santa Claus.
Really?
Yep.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's good to hear. This at your age and stuff, you're still excited.
Or it could be that, or maybe something else. Getting old, can't sleep, or I don't know what it was.
That's okay. You know what? Actually, I feel somewhat organized this year for whatever reason. I don't know. The store, and whether it's due to the economy being good or the politics, the political climate right now, we have been busy, and it has been It has been our busiest Christmas season ever. For whatever reason it is.
Well, there are several reasons, Eric, but we won't say them. But I mean,
really, it has been. It's been nuts for the last 10 days. So.
Nuts is good.
Yes.
I mean, it's good nuts, right?
Good nuts. We're not going to complain about that.
Nope.
But we are the owners of LEPD Firearms Range and Training Facility and our active law enforcement. But for 1 hour on Saturdays, we put together a group of firearm experts to discuss new products in the market, training tips, and oftentimes political topics surrounding the Second Amendment. Our commitment, though, has always been to bring you the facts about our industry and ultimately help our listeners and our customers with safe, responsible ownership of firearms. Today on the show, well, Pawpaw, it's going to be kind of like a box of chocolates. We're not sure what you're going to get. It is.
Well, that's kind of every show, isn't it, Eric?
It is, but this one's a little bit of planned chaos. All I know is that a lot of people have promised to either call or stop by. Some already have. I wanted to first, though, start by thanking our guest last week, Elise Chingari, the weather girl. Actually, I think she gets mad when I call her that. But it's good to see her back on the airwaves. You're going to hear her more on 610 and and on our show. So it's good to see her. Always good. And at 12:20, though, today, I'm going to have the gun of the week. And this is sponsored by our good friend over at Blackwing Shooting Center. And
did you tell me what the gun of the week was?
Oh, I think you know it. Let me tee it up, and I think you'll pick it up on it here.
Tee it up.
I know it's kind of selfish.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give those listening and who haven't bought me a gift yet one last chance of something that I want.
I see.
And this gun of the week, and I'll tell you what, this is how far I've gone with my subliminal messaging. The gun of the week this week is we did a story that's I think it's gonna be printed next week with the Dispatch, and they wanted to come out and take pictures, and they wanted a picture of me with a firearm. So I took this firearm that I'm hoping to get for Christmas, and that is what is in the picture. So when you see that story air, that's it. And hopefully by the time its story airs, it is mine, not just one of the ones here at the store. So how's that for subliminal marketing messaging, Pawpaw?
That's more like direct, I would think, more than
I didn't
subliminal.
have a sign on it saying, like, Eric wants this for Christmas, but
I see.
But it was close.
He has big wishes.
Yes.
Big wishes.
Well, you got to aim big. There is no JC today, but we have a few news stories I'm going to get to here shortly. And as always at this time, I'd like to thank our sponsors. They're the ones who keep it rolling each week. That's Rampart Hosting, Toyota West, Jackson Lawn Care and Egress Windows. And, we haven't seen the Jackson Lawn Care guys this winter. It's been quiet out there.
Someone's been out there with salt.
Yeah, but not nearly as much as the past years.
Yeah. Well, global warming, Eric.
Well, that is true. I guess that's helping us here now.
Hey, are we going to talk politics at all today?
A little bit. Just a little bit, but not much.
Because I have questions.
Okay, well, we'll get to that. That's
okay, all right.
I got it right here.
Question answer?
Yeah.
Okay, Q&A.
Other sponsors, Blackwing Shooting Center, River's Edge Cutlery, CNS Engraving, who I just saw walk out the door. Always good to see those guys. And, of course, LEPD Training Facility, who always make the show possible each week. Also like to give a shout-out to our good friends over at 3i Holsters. Talked to them this week as well. Make some wonderful holsters, and they're doing some custom holsters now for us for some of the local police departments. So always good to be partnered with those guys. Joining me today in the LEPD studios, no JC this week, but we have someone filling in for him. And you know what? We oftentimes see you on Facebook or see you come across. It is so good to have you here in the store and see you. We haven't seen you for a while. We have Big Ed sits to my right.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be invited in. I wore my special Christmas shirt for you.
That's a riot.
That
if you're
is
on,
nice.
If you're on Facebook, that is a riot.
But you know that it would have been even better if you actually wore the outfit.
Yes. I've seen those out there.
I tried. I tried. I was telling your dad I tried.
Really?
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to fit anymore.
And that's why we call him Big Ed.
That's right. But you know what? In all seriousness, you had you did something to your foot there, but we haven't seen you around as much, and it's good to have you here. And we always
I've been out of commission for about 9 weeks, 10 weeks now.
Yeah, and
that long, really.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we harass you, but it's all in good fun, and so it is good to see you sitting here beside us, filling in for JC this week. Paul, he sits to my left, and you know what? Let me take a step back. You know, a lot of the things we do around here are very, we always have marketing in mind. You want to put your best foot forward. We have Denisa now and a couple of us who do a lot of the Facebook and social media. Every time we do an interview, and we've done, Papa, we've done over 40 interviews this year.
That doesn't surprise me.
Over 40 interviews, and it's in contrary to belief. A lot of those shots aren't random. I mean, if we're talking about gun locks, we make sure we have that in the background, and it's very deliberate, very thought out. Well, this week, and oftentimes, Papa, you're not in these. I mean, you say that you want to be interviewed, but they don't seem to ask you and stuff. Maybe, I don't know why. But this week, you got some FaceTime, and it's actually starting to make its rounds on social media. They're calling it the photo bomb of the year. So if you haven't seen it, you got to go out there to our Facebook page.
All right. Now, in defense of myself.
All right, go ahead.
I have one lousy little 4-ounce cup of coffee when I'm here the whole time because I'm working my fingers to the bone trying to keep the place up, running, and everything. I don't get. And I covered the sales floor,
which did quite a bit this week.
Which I'm like a fish out of water when I do that. But I never know. You see news reporters in here. You see the media. You don't know when the camera's rolling or when it's not rolling, and So, anyways,
you're so photogenic though; it doesn't matter. You look good every time.
No, I don't think this time, Ed.
The funny thing is, it is total pawpaw. Every employee he saw that said. That's him. That's every day around here.
Did I have that look on my face?
No,
that disgusted look.
You had that kind of that security, like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
As you stood behind the lady being interviewed, sipping your coffee.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth seeing out there.
It's on that one up after we get off the air.
It is on Channel 4 website. The full story is about gun locks and safety, but it's also on our Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. If you missed the show, you can always catch the podcast. That's at 610WTVN.com. It's on iTunes and Google Podcasts. Google Podcasts is a great way to listen to the shows back. I do it every week myself. OnTarget at lepd.com is a good means of getting a hold of us. If you have a gun of the week you want us to cover, if you have a topic you want us to cover, or if you want to send Paul those messages like you do on Target at lepd.com is the way to go there. And, of course, Facebook. Facebook Live, it's been up and running. I think we got some of the bugs worked out. You can see everything live. I mean, if you're not watching on Facebook Live, you can't even see Ed's shirt, and that's worth seeing. It's right there. Let me hone in on that right there.
No, he's good. Yeah.
See on that? Yep.
Yep, you're being honed in.
What is that from the show where if you put it, you can put an eye out with that gun?
Yes, the Red Ryder BB gun.
Yeah.
There you go. So those are all good areas to see us throughout the week if you missed this show. So a couple pieces of news. Guys, this first one, I tell you, it is – so you talk about – we've talked the last couple of weeks about the will of the people doesn't seem to be taken into consideration oftentimes. And, Dad, I don't know if we talked about this story. Did you see in St. Louis what they're doing?
I think I briefly heard – something about that.
So, Ed, in St. Louis, where they reportedly have a gun violence program, like a lot of these big cities, well, they thought that it's important to keep guns out of the parks, and of course, it's not the law-abiding people that they're that you should be worried about, but they decided to go and redistrict, I guess, their parks in St. Louis, and now all their parks are considered child care centers.
Oh.
And now that they're considered child care centers, of course, you can't carry a firearm in a child care center.
So it's a gun-free zone.
It is. But they didn't quite think it through. Because
Which
now,
is typical.
Right, exactly.
Surprise.
So now, apparently, because they are child care centers, well, they have to comply with the laws that surround child care. So there's a good chance now they're going to have to secure and fence in the parks. They have to hire nurses, because if you can't have a child care center without nurses.
That's right.
And there's all kinds of they have to do background checks, comprehensive background checks for all the park employees. I wonder how that's going to turn out.
What about the people that walk into the park?
There's discussion about that too, about how you're going to, in child care, you have to have some type of security and stuff.
How are you going to enforce? I mean, that's
metal
the whole
detectors at the entrances.
That's
there
what I'm
go.
thinking. Yeah.
There you go. So it just
that'll work.
It's typical, and that's all taxpayers' money.
Absolutely.
So it's part of the craziness that we see. Other craziness this week, and we're not sure how this is going to end up, but Facebook and Instagram, I guess they're owned by the same people, have come out and banned branded content that has to do with firearms this week. So there's a lot of organizations such as ourselves who have Facebook accounts and Instagram accounts. We're not sure how it's going to shake out, but they've come out and they've said something that they're putting a ban on all firearm retailers who they consider an influencer, which I'm not sure what their definition is that. And they're going to start banning some of those posts. So I don't know if that's going to affect us.
What are they trying to say? Influence what? If you buy a gun, you
I don't know. I don't know what that definition.
Or does it influence violence? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know.
That's where I thought they would.
Because take away movies and all these television shows and shoot them up. Yeah.
Yep. So that is something that we're going to keep tabs on because it has a direct impact to us, and it's part of the media out there. Last week we saw where Bloomberg came out and said, his Bloomberg News is not to investigate any Democratic candidates in this political season. So we're starting to see these news outlets being driven by an agenda.
Yeah, well, sure. And that was you're segueing right into my one question: why, if Bloomberg is running now for president, why wasn't he with the debate?
I know. I don't know.
He didn't qualify.
He didn't qualify?
He didn't have enough points. I guess they have to have so many points to qualify. They have to have so much backing to get them on.
In the polls. You mean like in the polls?
Yeah.
To be able to get onto the stage and do the debate live.
Well, with his gun proposal, I think I'm going to vote for him. I mean, really, because he wants to stop the epidemic of gun violence in America. And he want to do that, and he wants to do that by, closing, the private selling of firearms, which he calls a loophole. Everybody has, got to do a background check, and now you have to go back and say, is that going to stop the violence?
Right.
Don't think so. And it's got all these other things.
It's crazy.
Well, they say the right words to get people to vote.
You're exactly right, Ed.
That's it.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Other news this week: Franklin Armory, manufacturer of some firearms. It came out with the firearm this week, or it didn't come out this week, but it got a lot of attention this week, called the Reformation. And this one's kind of interesting. It, on the surface, appears to be a short-barreled rifle. And as we talked about last week with the AR braces, these braces, in essence, allow you to have a short-barreled rifle legally, and you can shoulder them now, the ATF has said. Well, this one looks like a typical stock. It no longer looks like a arm brace. The interesting part about this, the way they're thinking that they're able to sell this, is that the rifling is not twisted in this. So it's, in essence, it has lands and grooves, but it doesn't have a rifle twist per se.
Oh, so it's a grease gun.
Well, kind of. And so because of that and because of the definition, it doesn't meet the definition of a rifle. So they're thinking that they're going to be able to sell these out there and, and kind of circumvent in some regards. Now, the interesting part about it is I did some reading, and it's going to take a completely different round because it doesn't have rifling. So I don't know if the rounds themselves are going to have rifling like a Sabot slug.
Right.
So I'm not
That's
sure.
What I was going to ask you.
Exactly. That's kind of what they're thinking about. ATF came out in their wisdom of evaluating this, and they have labeled this now at the moment a short-barreled shotgun. So it stands to reason we'll see what comes about. So you can't buy them right now until they come up with the paperwork on how to do them, but it's definitely interesting.
Well, I could see where they could try and follow into that rifling, because I have the shotgun I have for deer rifle has grooves in it, but it's still called a rifle. It lands in grooves.
Right.
It's not a smooth bore barrel, so.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know how it will fall out, but it is something definitely that
but it's going to take new ammunition.
Right, which I don't know if that's going to, I don't know if it's worth it to get that short-barreled rifle.
That's really going to go over real well.
Yeah,
it's going to be costly.
Last thing, and Ed, I'm sure you might have a thought on this. gonna step up on the soapbox for a second. We had an NYPD officer in this week, and we were just making small talk with him, and he had mentioned something to us that I didn't quite believe, but I went and researched it myself. But did you guys know that this week in New York, they opened up the doors to allow immigrants who are illegal in the country to now have driver's license? So they said the lines were around the buildings.
Doesn't surprise
right?
me.
So, but think about the ramifications of this. What do you need to vote? You need a driver's license. So have we just opened the door to kind of wink, wink, a lot of these folks being able to vote? It gets worse because New York is kind of a sanctuary state or city.
Which is like Columbus is going
right.
to be. Yeah.
They have now eliminated, get this, Ed, BMV pictures from being able to be pulled up by local law enforcement because they don't want you to be able to identify someone who illegal and act on that. So to get a picture, a BMV picture in New York now, you have to have a warrant.
So you're saying that the driver's license is not going to have a picture on it either?
The driver's license does, but if you're in a cruiser and you're running on your MDT and stuff, it will no longer be able to pull up a picture that goes associated with that driver's license.
So what are they saying? If he looks Hispanic, he's illegal. So if you see his picture, you can't.
I don't know.
On it?
It's definitely intended that you're not going to be able to act on. If you're driving down the street and it pops up that the guy has a warrant and you're trying to identify him, they're no longer going to have the picture in there.
That's
talk
great.
about taking the tools away from law enforcement, and then they're going to be the first ones who come to law enforcement and say, "Why didn't you prevent X, Y, Z?"
Right.
But they've continually taken away the tools. This officer was disgusted. He says it's just not how it used to be, and it seems like the rights continue to go the wrong way and stuff.
Right.
So that is it for the news. You have anything else there, Pawpaw?
Nothing right now.
All right. When we come back from the break, I'm going to get to my gun of the week, and we're going to hear from some of our employees coming up after the news. But we're on target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms and Range. We'll be back right after the break.
They are the risk takers. Unashamed.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Unafraid.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And undaunted in the face of controversy.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody.
To say what's on their mind.
Does the saying Merry Christmas offend me? Absolutely not.
That's just what Americans say.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
From News Radio 610, WTVN.
Message and data rates may apply.
AM.
Earning your degree from one of the top business schools in the country might sound impossible to fit into
What's
your
the temperature
workload.
there?
But what if there were a business degree that advanced your career skills and
40. All right,
gave you
Papa's doing a
access to
mic check.
world-renowned
All right, Papa,
faculty,
is that any better?
leaders,
Testing.
and mentors, all on your schedule?
Testing.
One that
1, 2.
opened
No.
doors to some
Testing.
of the most influential CEOs, tech companies, law firms, entrepreneurs, and
Practice
thought
on the
leaders.
Okay,
And
good.
What if
you
could
can
earn that
just
degree
have
in as
him
little
on as
as
soon as we come
16
back.
months,
How's that, Papa? Try that.
100%
Testing one.
online.
Nope.
Find out more.
It's like I don't
Text
hear
result
myself.
to 79645. Start on the path to earning
That's
your
clear to
MBA
me.
or Business Analytics Master's
But you don't
degree
hear yourself
online
back in.
from the
Testing,
W.P.
1,
Carey
2.
School of Business
Testing,
at
1. Now, that's a
Arizona
little bit
State
better.
University
Yeah.
today. Learn more about the graduate
Testing,
programs
1,
from the
2.
top-ranked
1, 2.
W.P. Carey School of Business
Little
at
bit better,
Arizona
yeah.
State
Just a little bit
University,
better.
There might
offered
be a connection there.
100% online. Text result to 79645. That's RESULT to 79645.
The countdown to award season is on.
Ready to kick this thing off?
And the biggest names in music are getting ready for one night. Our 2020 iHeartRadio Music Awards. Coming to the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles on March 29th. You can watch live on Fox and listen on your favorite iHeartRadio station. Be here as the nominees are unveiled on January 8th. Our 2020 iHeartRadio Music Awards.
Get your furnace fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling, 1-800-COOLING.
Your ABC6 first warning weather for today. Becoming mostly sunny and warmer, high of 45. Tonight, patchy fog is likely. Still cold, though. Low of 28. For Sunday, a mix of sun and clouds, mild. It's going to get up to 46 tomorrow. It's currently 40 degrees on your severe weather station, News Radio 610, WTVN.
News reports on the top and 30 minutes past the hour. Breaking news immediately. News Radio 610 WTVN.
Now, Paul, that's some good Christmas music.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and they're going to be in town.
Have you ever
26.
Have you ever gone to see them?
Yes, one time at least. They put on a show.
It's amazing.
Did you see the photograph? Did you see the photograph of all of the semis it takes to haul all of their equipment? There was something like 65 semis bringing their equipment here.
And to be in one location for one day,
it's ridiculous.
Wow. Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric, joined today in the LEPD studios with my father, Coner Phil. He sits to my left. Big Ed is filling in for JC to my right is where he sits. And actually, we have someone on the line with us. It looks like our good friend Rex from Blackwing Shooting Center is on. Are you there, Rex?
I am here. How are you today?
We are great. I haven't talked to you for a while. How are things over there at Blackwing?
Everything's great. We're, getting ready for the holidays times just like everybody else, but all's good and glad to see some fantastic weather for the holiday time as well.
Right. Now, does that help you guys? I mean, are you still outside at all, or can you do you gain a couple extra days when the weather's decent?
Yeah, we've been rocking and rolling on the outdoor shotgun ranges, and fortunately we're going to have a great week next week when everybody's off and wants to get out of the house and have something to do. So fortunately this winter we're going to be able to, have some great outdoor activities.
Yeah, going to have some perfect weather. Perfect weather.
Yeah, I heard almost 50 degrees on Christmas Day.
It's not the same as it used to be. There's that global warming stepping in again.
Right. Yeah. That's all right, though. It helps a little business here. Okay. How was business been? You have some good sales running?
Yeah, it's good. We're like everybody else in the retail world. Everything's on sale for the holidays and seems to be pulling some traffic in. And again, love to see the people out shooting and exercising their Second Amendment rights. So,
right,
all's good up here in the big city of Delaware.
That's great, and I know we've sent some people up your way too. I mean, you guys are really the experts in town when it comes to when it comes to a lot of things, but specifically the long guns, the trap shotguns. I mean, I know when you were on our show last time, you brought one in that was just spectacular. Are you still seeing a good business with those guns?
Yeah, it seems to be fairly steady with the outdoor shotgun market. It's a sport that everybody can enjoy, whether they're a novice or expert. You can come out and have a great time, and whether you break one target or you break hundreds of targets, you're still going to have a great time. So it's a super event. We do a lot of corporate outings and other things to get people introduced into the sport, and seems to be very popular and growing.
Yeah, so Eric, we're going to make a field trip out there.
We do,
and just make a visit. Yeah.
Have you ever done?
Yeah, you keep saying that, but I've not seen
it.
You're right.
Rex, it's not me. It's Eric. He can't get away from the store. I mean, I could come up there anytime.
Matter of fact, he's on his way.
Yeah.
But it's something too. I mean, the whole skeet and trap. I mean, it's a little bit, people I think sometimes are shied away because, it's a shotgun. But when you're using some of these firearms that are meant for that, I mean, the recoil is next to nothing sometimes. I mean, it really, you can see the advantage of those guns, and it is a blast. I mean, it's something that the whole family can enjoy. And like you said, Rex, it is great for team building events.
Yeah, and we have everything you need. So, you don't worry about, I don't have a shotgun, or, maybe I don't have the right apparel to wear, or I don't know what to do. So, the beautiful thing about it is you can come up and we can outfit you. We can fit you to the right gun, the right gauge. The soft semi-automatic 20 gauges are perfect for use and people who are a little recoil sensitive, or we also have the 12 gauges, which give you a little bit more of advantage, and we'll make sure you have a great time.
That's great. So, Rex, for those who don't know you guys, how do they find you?
Yeah, well, we're online at blackwingsc.com, or just west of Delaware on 36 at 3722 Marysville Road. So just due north of the Columbus Zoo. Everybody knows where that is. We're about 10 minutes north of the Columbus Zoo. Pretty easy to get to, and love to have everybody out anytime.
That's great. Well, we promise we are definitely going to come out and bring the family out. We talked about doing our own team building with the store employees, so we might have to coordinate that.
Yeah, no, we'd love to have you out, and just let me know, and we'll get you set up.
Great. Well, our good friend Rex from Blackwing Shooting Center, definitely a place worth going to check out. Merry Christmas, Rex. Tell all your family there too. Merry Christmas from us.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to y'all too, and hope you got a great holiday time coming up.
You
Thanks
as
for
well.
letting me call in today.
Yep, you as well. That's Rex Gore from Black Wing Shooting Center. He's been around the Columbus area for a long time now, and really the expert, and just a wonderful family, wonderful guy. So we always like to partner with him. When we come back from the break, we're gonna slip in my gun of the week. We're also going to get to a couple of employees. What are they wanting for Christmas? We're on target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LEPD Farms and Range. We'll be right back after the break.
Message and data rates may apply.
Earning your degree from one of the top business schools in the country might sound impossible to fit into your workload. But what if there were a business degree that advanced your career skills and gave you access to world-renowned faculty, leaders, and mentors all on your schedule? One that opened doors to some of the most influential CEOs, tech companies, law firms, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders. And what if you could earn that degree in as little as 16 months, 100% online? Find out more. Text RESULT to 79645. Start on the path to earning your MBA or Business Analytics Master's degree online from the W.P. Carey School of Business at Arizona State University today. Learn more about the graduate programs from the top-ranked W.P. Carey School of Business at Arizona State University, offered 100% online.
Sorry, wrong button.
That's okay. Hey, this guy, I don't know. Lori said, my wife said he came in all upset and stuff. So
to 79645.
just watch for someone calling in like that. You don't have caller ID, right?
Traffic and weather for Columbus. News Radio 610 WTVN.
Former Ohio Governor John Kasich says he supports the
okay.
impeachment of
Well, if he
President
gets something
Trump.
and he sneaks in there on a different reason and stuff, just be ready to pull out of it.
Bush
So.
wouldn't have done it.
Yeah,
And
I
I
know,
believe
that's always
it's an offense that
I know,
raises to
I
the
know.
level of impeachment.
Cool. All right.
Karen
Everything
ABC
sound all right?
from Alive.
Yep, you
Kasich
sound
says
great.
President
Coolness.
Trump
You're
just went
coming
too
back at
far.
34.
Police in East
Yep.
Cleveland arresting 4
Coolness.
people after
Bye.
a reported aggravated robbery near East 105th Street and Morrison. 2 cars reported being chased Friday afternoon. 4 people hurt when the cars struck them. This just 20 minutes before a separate chase led to the death of a 13-year-old girl in East Cleveland, with the suspect, another teen, being arrested as well. And congratulations to Kent State football. They won their first ever bowl game Friday, the Frisco Bowl, 51-41 over Utah State. Former Lorain County quarterback Dustin Crum with 436 total yards and 3 touchdowns in the win. I'm Kyle Cornell.
Okay, class, welcome to Car Leasing 101.
We're just
First,
testing the
take
mics
out
they're
your
in.
phones and go on the
Can you hear
Roto
all right?
app. Next, pick a car.
Yep, you just got
Now
to
you'll
speak
see
up,
simple, crystal
and I'll
clear
lead
pricing
you.
with all discounts,
And don't worry about
taxes,
the
and fees
million
included.
people that are watching.
Okay, that's it. Any questions? Yes, Jackson?
Wait, so that's it?
That's it. So enjoy your day. Class dismissed.
Sweet!
Welcome to the future of leasing. Roto lets you choose from hundreds of cars to lease. The pricing is crystal clear, and we'll deliver the car right to your house. So hit the road the easy way and download the Roto app or go to roto.com today.
If you're 65 or older, you recently had a choice to make regarding your Medicare Part D coverage. Maybe you chose a new plan or stayed with the plan you already have. Either way, there's something you should know. Giant Eagle Pharmacy is proud to be in the preferred pharmacy network with AARP, United Healthcare, Anthem, and many others. So you can get your prescriptions from Giant Eagle Pharmacy and pay the lowest price. To transfer your prescriptions, stop in and speak with your neighborhood Giant Eagle pharmacist today. Lowest price applies to Tier 1 generic copays for select plans.
Shop Rod's Western Palace for true Western living, located at 3099 Silver Drive or at rods.com.
Live from LEPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric. Joined today in the LEPD studios, my father, co-owner, Phil. Just to my left, Big Ed is to my right. He's filling in for JC this week. Always good to see you, Ed.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Yeah, good to see you back in the store. I haven't seen you for a while. And our good friend Rex was on the line. Good guy. I mean, what a good, solid family. Good, good
Nice
family
store,
business.
too.
Yeah. Nice stores. Definitely worth going out there and checking out. So, guys, I'm going to do my gun of the week real quick because it's a little bit selfish, because it's what I want for Christmas. And if you're watching on Facebook, always a good place to watch this. I'm going to zoom in on it.
Okay, so you want all the people that are able to buy you something for Christmas to look at this.
Well, who haven't bought me something yet.
Oh, okay, all right.
I mean, I don't want, if you buy something already, I hate for you to go out and spend extra money.
Okay.
I mean, if you choose, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that.
That's
Whoa.
right.
Whoa,
so, so this here, have you seen this, Ed?
No, I have not, but it sure looks like one of the guns we already have.
Does that make a difference?
No. This is different. This isn't the CS.
Does that make a difference, Ed, whether we have it or not?
Since when has that stopped us? So what we're looking at here, if you're not watching on Facebook, it is a used Smith & Wesson 3913 TSW. And what I like about this, it is really the precursor to the modern day shields. And everyone gets excited about the Smith & Wesson shields and wow, look how small they are.
Yep.
But well before the shields were ever in play, when we were carrying third generation Smiths, Pawpaw, the 5906 and the 4506 and all of those, the backup, one of the common ones, were these single stack 9s. This one was kind of neat.
And the TSW?
Tactical Smith & Wesson.
Right. Tactical.
And what it was really the first entree into putting rails on some of these guns. On some of the smaller ones. So as you see on this one, there is a rail kind of crude in nature.
And is it screwed in or is it part of the gun?
It's part of the gun.
Really? Okay.
So they call it a light rail. Now, I don't know if that meant to be intended for just a light, or if it was light meaning don't hang something heavy on it because it's not that sturdy.
It's probably light like a light beam.
Like
a light beam.
So this one's kind of neat. Came in on a trade.
That is nice. 3
magazines. I probably never carry it, but it's just one of those ones. New, like new in the box. Ed, have you bought me something yet?
No, I haven't. But I mean, that's a nice looking gun. But again, it looks very similar to the Chief Special we have.
Well, we have those in 45.
Yeah, and the Chief Specials are a little bit boxier. Ed.
Not too much. Not too much. It looks quite a bit.
Yeah.
But don't talk me out of my Christmas gift, Ed.
You don't need a 9mm.
I can turn that mic right off.
45 is where you got to be.
Right. Keep it up, Ed. He's going to hit the button.
I'll bet your wife would appreciate me talking
We don't
to you,
talk about that.
We don't talk about that to the wives. Come on.
All right.
No, but in all honesty, it is a neat one. I like it because it's historical. I think as I get older, I start to look at some of these things that were commonplace 20 years ago, and I start to have a place in my heart for them and stuff. Everyone now, or the new kids, are insistent upon striker fire. But back then, that double action, single action served us fine.
Right, and Big Ed, and you'll probably realize this pretty soon when you get old enough and you don't have the strength in your thumb to hit the slide release. These older firearms had a great slide release that, you didn't have to go searching for or use 2 hands to close the slide.
Speaking of young kids who are insistent upon striker fire and this and that, actually one just stopped in on us here.
Oh, young
and
kid.
I'm going to turn the mic on, so watch the language here, because Emily has never had to hit the button. Now, actually, in all honesty, we have one of our sales guys who just popped over from the sales floor. Jake, you've probably seen him in here. Jake you've been with us how long now, Jake? 9 months?
About a year.
Well, about a year now and stuff. And you've really I'm gonna pay you a compliment. I'm only saying it one time though.
Don't let it go to your head either.
Jake does a wonderful job if you're here looking for a firearm, putting you in what's right for you, because he's very well read on what is the latest and greatest and the different models. And to tell you the truth, I can't keep up with it anymore. When you look at the CZs or even the Glocks, there's so many different models and nuances. But you do a great job, because I think it's a passion of seeing what's up there. And how many times a day do I lean towards you and Jake, what's the difference between? So it happens often, but you do a great job in there. I think we were going around the store asking what everyone wants for Christmas, and I think you bought your own Christmas gift here a couple weeks ago, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Picked up a Glock 45 MOS model 45, not 45 caliber. I know you older guys are into that, but
who are you talking about? Why'd you look at me when you said older guys?
But it's neat though, because that MOS has a plate right on it, so you can put an optic right on it. Correct?
Yeah.
But you then, keeping up on things that are going on today, you actually have chosen to take that slide and send it away, and you're having some other modifications to it.
I like the optic platform so much. I got myself another Christmas present, sent my Glock 19 slide off to Agency Arms to get a little slide work done from them. They're kind of one of the premier companies in that line of work, so pretty excited to see what that looks like when it comes back.
Last week we talked about the new Glock 44, which just got announced last week, I think, and it's really the size of a Glock 19, but it's in .22 caliber. And we all sat around the store and said, "Geez, why? Why are they coming out with the .22?" But you made a great point this week. You and I were talking, and you did some research on how that was developed, and you started to sell me on it, because it almost, in typical Glock fashion, it almost looks like they went over and above to make sure this is going to work. What were some of the stats we were talking about their insurance that this is going to live up to the standards of a Glock?
Yeah, I wasn't originally super excited about it, but then started looking into it a little bit more. They developed it over 3 years, which is 3 times as long as they spend developing one of their normal models. Spent a lot of time and a lot of effort in trying to make it the most reliable 22 out there on the market. So their benchmark was rounds between malfunctions, and they tried out a bunch of the competition, found out which one of those was the most reliable, and made theirs twice as reliable, and allegedly.
Right, and that's important when you think of 22. You think inherently that there's some issues with them just because of the ammunition. And if they've taken that and tried to double the amount of time you can shoot that between malfunctions, that's a pretty high standard to set. And this might be a suitable practice firearm used in training that would slide someone right into a Glock 19.
Absolutely. It would make a perfect pair for a training tool for a Glock 19 or any Glock really. But one of the big things about that is they actually made their gun dry fire safe on a striker fired 22. So that's a pretty big deal. There's not too many of those out there, so it'd be really good.
And that's great because in classes, people are always wanting to dry fire and so forth. Now we did talk about it's only a 10-round mag, and we looked at it and said, why is it only a 10-round mag? But you read that there's a specific reasoning for that.
Yeah, the rim lock, where the rims of a rimfire cartridge kind of lock themselves together and cause malfunctions, is a problem with pretty much all 22s anytime you try and go over a single stack. And Glock, they experimented with some higher capacity magazines, but they settled on that 10-round single stack because it just they wanted it to be Glock reliable. So.
Right. That's good. That's good. Well, thanks for stopping by. It's good to have you here, and we don't get to highlight some of our intellectual talent here, but you really do a good job, and you do. You're one of the assets to the company because you know so much about stuff, and it's hard to keep up on all that, and you do a great job doing it. I don't know if it's because you don't have a social life. I'm not sure why, but we'll take that, So, no, thanks. Jake, you can see him here most evenings at the store when he's not in school. So thanks for stopping by, and look for him when you are by next. So who is up next here? Look at who is coming to the counter here. So, wait a second. I think we're getting a call, Paul.
Okay. Well,
all right. Here, let's take a caller. You're on with OnTarget. How are you?
How are you, Eric? This is Santa Claus.
Is that Santa?
From the North Pole.
It's Santa.
Shouldn't you? Wow. How have you taken time out to give us a call, Santa?
Well, I'm quite busy up here, as you know, and I took a minute to go into my office and sit in a big chair, and I thought I'd better give you a call to see if all the gifts that you're wanting this year are on your list.
Santa, I don't want to be selfish, but did you catch my gun of the week? It's kind of still out there on my list.
I did, but I'm not sure that's a good one for you this year. I think Pawpaw would really like that gun.
You don't interject your opinion, Santa, in all due respect. Hey, I heard that you that this year you had to take out your Santa outfit a little bit.
Well, Mrs. Claus is one heck of a cook. And, I had to expand the coat a little bit this year.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that,
Wow. Well, hey, we were a little bit worried you wouldn't have an opportunity to give us a call this year. So we certainly appreciate you giving us a call, and safe travels. Looks like it's going to be warm for you this week.
It is going to be a bit warm. The reindeer are getting ready for it. They assure me that they'll still be able to perform.
That's good. And I think Big Ed here did his part in staying away from the deer this year during hunting season, so that should be good.
Yeah, that's what I heard so far, yes.
So far.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, we will let you go back to your work. I know you're busy cramming here the next couple of days, but so much appreciation here.
Over there, Alps. Oh, yeah. I appreciate letting me in on the air with you, Eric. It's always nice to talk to you. And I do have a lot of things to do yet, so we've got the elves working real hard, and Mrs. Claus is getting ready to make lunch for me, so I'm going to have to go.
All right. Thanks, Santa. The big guy, Santa Claus, right there on the phone. Wow, that was really
that's neat.
That's
you know what?
neat.
He takes time out of his schedule every year to call us.
He does. That is surprising.
That's great.
Well, we're going to actually take time to go to a quick break. When we come back, we've been inundated by employees. I don't know who's covering the floor because they all seem to be gathered around the studio desk. We're on Target, broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms and Range. We'll be right back after the break.
Rush is easy to understand.
So few people get it, it's not hard to get.
And easily accessible.
We're on 15 hours a week. All you have to do is turn it on and listen.
Monday at noon.
There's no mystery here. There's no secret decoder ring that you have to have in order to be able to listen. We don't speak in code.
No muss, no fuss. Just Rush.
You don't need some decoder manual or an Enigma machine to translate what's really being said here.
On News Radio 610 WTVN.
You don't become a good listener
What's the
overnight.
temperature, Em?
It takes practice. For more than 100 years, we at Mutual of
40.
Omaha have been listening to our customers.
Well,
not to
now
Wall
it says
Street,
44, but
not
that
to
doesn't
outside
seem right.
shareholders.
We'll go with it.
We listen to
Sure.
you.
All right.
In that time, we've learned that behind every conversation we have about insurance lies something much bigger, the hopes and dreams of our customers. And we love to hear about them.
The intro
Because we know
have
it's
to
bigger
this
than life
next song
insurance.
is kind
It's
of
about planning
long-ish.
for your family's future. It's about
I don't know if
more
it's
than
normally
employee
like that.
benefits. It's the opportunity to help you build the business you've always dreamed of. And it's beyond Medicare supplement insurance. It's about giving you the confidence to live life to the fullest. That's why we listen, because it's not about us. It's about you. So give us a call at 800-49-BEGIN or find an agent at mutualofomaha.com. Mutual of Omaha. We begin by listening. Mutual of Omaha Insurance Company and its affiliates, Omaha, Nebraska.
From all of us in the Discount Drug Mart family, Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year.
Your ABC 6 first warning weather for today. It's becoming more sunny and warmer later in the day. High of 45 for tonight. Patchy fog is likely, still cold. Low of 28 for Sunday, though. A mix of sun and clouds. Mild. It's going to get up to 46. It is currently 44 degrees on your severe weather station. News Radio 610 WTVN.
Columbus's News Radio 610 WTVN.
It's all cold down along the beach. And the wind's whipping down the boardwalk. Hey, Dan! Hey, man! You guys know what time of year it is? What time? What? Oh, Christmas time. You guys all been good.
Well, welcome back to On
practicing real
Target.
hard.
I'm your host, Eric, joined today in the LAPD studios with the employees who make up LAPD. Pawpaw stepped off for a second. Ed stepped off for a second. But anytime around here when you leave a mic free, it seems to be filled with people. And you know what? It's a great time because we have around the table right now, around the studio table, some of our employees and some of the people who truly make up LAPD. And they all come from different backgrounds. And it's truly... It's neat to have you guys here. So I'm not gonna pay you tons of compliments and stuff, but I did bring you guys all on because we're going to talk about a little bit about what excites you for Christmas around here. There's a ton of things. I'm going to turn your mics on now, so get all those words out. Watch that button there, Em. So standing to my left, and I'm going to tell you, Matt, you're kind of messing up my camera shot because your head is almost out of the camera shot.
Can't help it.
Matt is one of our newest employees. He helps with the average height of our store. You bring up that average for us and stuff, but really past military experience in school and stuff. And I told you when you started that you're probably not going to bring home a paycheck.
Right,
and
yeah.
it was your first week here, and already you found something that you like. Tell us about what came in the other day that you have your eye on.
Well, I walked into your office and, bam, I saw something sitting there that I was kicking myself over because a year ago they have one. You have one here, and I wanted to buy it. I just didn't get around to it, and it's back. It's kind of like, oh.
Was it calling your name? Don't fight the voices.
Yeah,
man.
I saw it sitting there, and it was a 1952 Russian Soviet SKS.
Wow.
With the underfolding bayonet, matching parts.
Wow.
And it's just pretty hard to not look at when I'm over there behind the counter. It's like the Ring, you know, like I'm Frodo or Bilbo Baggins, and the Ring is just calling me.
Did you pick it up and hold it? And
oh, yes.
Okay.
It feels nice. Everyone says it looks nice on me. I'm like, so Santa, if you're listening.
Now you know the rules here. If you go a day without selling a firearm on the sales floor, you can fulfill that by buying the gun for yourself.
You know?
Right.
So.
You know,
yeah, no worries if you don't buy any. I'll make up for everyone.
Now it is a beautiful Russian SKS that came in the door and stuff, and I don't know, that might have your name on it. So
yeah.
But good to have you on the team and stuff to stop by and see Matt. To my right, you know what? I got mixed emotions. I'm going to tell you up front, Robbie.
That's fair.
I mean, it is fair. You know, I don't know if it's the hair or whatever, but Robbie, it's just to my right. He is one of our sales guys, and you come from a line of LEPD employees. Your father,
second-generation range officer, if you will.
That is second-generation range officer. Your father worked here for number of years, passed away unexpectedly last year, but I'll tell you what, having you here is kind of like having your father here. And so
stop, you're going to make me blush, and then I'll be embarrassed because it's about my dad.
Yeah, that's right. But really, I know you guys come down to the sales floor and nose around a little bit and stuff. What has caught your eye down here?
I tell you, it's and Mom, if you're listening, the Ruger Blackhawk 45 Colt. Right there. I like to slap the hammer every now and again.
Yep.
Not on the range.
Right.
But it's a fine firearm and in a fine round, I would say.
Right. And then that's some 45 Colt.
45 Colt. Yeah.
Right.
Now, would you carry that in a
self-defense capacity?
No,
absolutely.
No, I'm talking about like in a Western type holster.
Well, you know, with the times are weird. I'm just saying the Boogaloo's not too far. It's going to be the Wild West all over again.
That's right.
All right.
Right.
And,
we probably have a holster
there.
over there for that. So that is a neat gun. It's a classic.
It
when
is.
you talk about that category and so forth. So, well, good to have you here. Always good. And
Glad
if you're
to be here.
on the range, you can look for Robbie up there. You're up there quite a bit now. Every time I come in the door, you seem like to be up there. I don't know if you're working or you're just up there. So.
Well, I'm
he's
working.
Well, you're really not working there.
Well,
but,
to my far right, you've seen him on the show many times. He's actually one of our lead trainers, and we should probably put a pitch in for the new class we're offering, Handgun 202. Yeah. It's the next stage from Handgun 101, obviously, but a great class to kind of sharpen your skills. And then in addition to that, you put on the Practical Defensive Handgun series, which is phenomenal. It is almost a must if you have your concealed carry and you want to go that step further and start thinking about what it's going to be like if you're ever in a life or death situation where you have to pull your firearm. So you do that too, but you also know guns, obviously. And you know, we always talk, and you have a good eye for rifles and long guns. You've schooled me a little bit recently. Well, you've educated me. How's
I
that?
don't want to say it on the air.
Right, that's it. But it's true, though. I mean, in all honesty, I look to you guys because you're the ones who keep up with this. And what you have here in front of you, I tell you what, I've had my eye on that. I have no practical reason to have it, but it is beautiful. What do you have there in front of you, Sean?
Okay. So it's called a M6IC SPR, but it's by LWRC. So as far as like the big names and AR companies, LWRC is definitely a big one out there, specifically if you're looking for a piston gas system AR. So part of some of the key points here on this thing, we're looking at a 14.7 barrel, which does have a pinned AAC flash hider on there. So that's given us a 1601 overall length. So this is still a rifle without any paperwork. Let's see, beyond that, we're completely ambidextrous on the controls. Everything on this is upgraded, so everything's going to be extremely tough on here. So as far as like what we're really looking at, as far as the price point, we're sitting at $22.99 for this thing. So why pay the money for it? So this thing is extremely strong. It's very durable. It's advertising that its barrel life is 20,000 rounds, which is probably more than most recreational shooters are going to actually ever fire out of the thing. So we got an extremely long life on this thing. You know, I always try to tell people to think a little bit about resale, because every time you buy a gun, you always tell yourself you're never going to part with the thing for the rest of your life. You probably are at some point. So the fact that this thing is ambidextrous, you have a much wider demographic of people who are going to be able to use it. As far as just the general aspects of the gun in general, it's a very good general purpose rifle. The fact that we're sitting at just a 16-inch overall length, so we're sitting really compact, and the fact that it's shorter, you're not cutting yourself short of anything like that. When I used to have to do throwing out the Marine Corps card here, when I would have to do the yearly qualifications, but our M4s were 14.5, and we still had to go out to 500 yards of the thing. So you're not getting cut short on distance, but the barrel isn't so short that we're, quote unquote, like neutering the round. You're still getting the terminal ballistics you need out of the thing. With that kind of length barrel. The fact that it's piston, I know.
Yep.
The fact that it's piston, it's going to shoot really, really smoothly. So what I got on top of here is the Vortex UH1. It's a Huey. We're sitting at, 1,500 hours of battery life. Really solid reticle, and I think you had a bit of a holiday.
You're right. I tell you,
special
if you
going
come
on
in, we'll throw in the optic here, which is, a $300-$400 optic.
MSRP is like well over $500.
Right. So in the gun, I don't think it's been shot, Sean. I mean, I don't.
It's not. So, I don't know. It's one of those things. This really should be a one-day-only kind of deal, but you might want to sleep on it. You might need to talk to somebody. You shouldn't have to.
And the boss isn't here tomorrow, and you're here tomorrow, so I'm just saying. So,
Eric, I want to mention, too, before we get off the air, is that these three gentlemen here behind the counter are former Marines, and Doug, the range manager, he's former Marine. And I just wanted to express my gratitude for all these service people, men and women who serve our country. I appreciate that. I did it years ago, many years ago, but I just want to appreciate that.
It's a good group of guys. It truly is.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys for jumping on with us. I will say two things. One, JC joined and is watching, so we're going to give a shout-out to him. He said, make sure you mention gift cards are still available. That is true. There's still a lot of specials. The other thing I want to mention, we talked about Facebook cutting off people being influencers in the gun market. They cut our feed today. So we just got the message that they cut us off. It looks like for gun-related stuff. I'm not sure yet. So there you go, live right there as it happens.
There you have
so
it. All right.
Have a great Christmas. Come stop by, check out what we have in inventory. Our guys here are great, and we'll see you next week after Christmas.
From the Elk and Elk Studios, Elk and Elk, working for every client every day. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. News Radio 610 WTVN.
I'm ready when you are, Em. Are you there, Em?
Yep, sorry. Hold on one second.
No, you're fine.
So, Facebook shut you down.
Okay, ready whenever.
All right. Hey, no one tried to call in? That Don guy didn't come? Okay.
Sure didn't.
Okay, hold on 1 second here. I want to stop everything. Darn, Facebook cut us off today. Okay, here we go. This is Eric from OnTarget. This week we look at new concealed carry holsters in the market.